Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, well, before we get going, we have two very important things to do. First off, as some of you guys noticed on yesterday's video, we do have a new intro piece that is by Ultranova. He also makes some of the stream music that you guys hear on Friday evenings. Go check him out in the description box down below. He spent well over 50 hours composing this new set of music. If you want to hear the whole thing, it is on his channel. Again, link to him is in the description down below, so please go make sure to check him out and thank him for our new intro piece. Second very, very, very important item of business. Alright, and on to today's video. So, today I want to discuss the best way for you to relieve some of your frustration with World of Warships, short of just going to a different game, which, you know, sometimes that's the best thing to do. When I get frustrated in World of Warships, which is becoming, unfortunately, a bit increased recently, especially with just some of the mechanics and stuff and the way that the game has changed since I originally started to play it, I take a break, go play another game for a while. Currently, it's Assassin's Creed, as you just witnessed. Starting tomorrow, it's going to be Cyberpunk as my second main game. I've played World of Warships as my main game now for just over 4 years. I've been doing it on YouTube for 3 of those 4 years. So, yeah. But anyway, short of doing that, the best thing you can do in World of Warships to just relieve some of the frustration is go try out a different class. And this is something that I definitely had to learn. As many of you guys know, I am for sure a Battleship main. Still a Battleship main. Probably will forever be a Battleship main. I just like battleships. I like the guns. I like the way they handle, even though they are sluggish. Well, I like the way most of them handle. Like the Vermont's a different story, but most of them I just like that feeling of being in a battleship, this huge armored ship with all these guns strapped to it, all these secondaries, and just the massive main battery guns. I like that. However, I am finding destroyers quite fun, especially the Khabarovsk, the gameplay that I recorded live. You should be watching right now. It was actually a lot of fun for me to go through and play and switch up my playstyle from something that's slow, very tanky, has a lot of armor on it, to something that's more quick, more maneuverable. I know Khabarovsk isn't the most maneuverable DDs because of its rudder shift time, and because it's Soviet, it has to have the turning circle radius of a continent, but that's fine. But just switching it up, trying a new playstyle out, and this is something I touched on in the Hypergrind video where I grinded to the Khabarovsk in 23 games. I had fun doing it, especially once you got to tier 8 in the Soviet destroyer line, and this is quite an old line. The Khabarovsk received its first buff in years recently with the new patch. It now no longer takes the different AP pin ratio from battleship caliber guns. It now only takes 10% of the total pin value of battleship AP. Before, it took the old ratio, which was like 30%, and that was, well, according to Wargaming, it was justified because the Khabarovsk has so much health and it's such a large ship that it doesn't get that new pin ratio until now. Same with the Harugumo too, although I don't think that really affected the Harugumo quite as much because that's DD just kind of sit and smoke and daka 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 to your heart's content. And I was very hesitant to try destroyers because I figured, that's way on the other end of the spectrum from battleships. And I started with, of course, like many of you guys have seen if you've been watching the channel for a long period of time, started with super cruisers, worked on heavy cruisers, light cruisers, now down to destroyers, and I gotta say I'm having a lot of fun. It's fun to switch up your playstyle, to try and play something else, to play something different, try to look at the game in a different way. And like the match you're watching right now, I was very, well, not terribly sneaky, but positioning was very important in what I did. I basically went around the side and behind the enemy team to get at them to where they either had to, get in a position to mitigate the damage coming in from myself or my team. And fortunately for me, they chose to mitigate the damage coming in from my team, so I got to put that wonderful Soviet DDAP to work. As you'll see here, I'm sure I'm probably chewing on the Vermont by now in the replay. I'm pinning his bow, pinning his stern for like 2,000-3,000 damage a salvo with Khabarovsk AP, which is absolutely friggin' fantastic. And yeah, that thing's got some pretty freaking scary AP. Of course, it's Soviet, so it has to have amazing AP. But yeah, it's great doing that. It's very satisfying too. You spend 3, 4, 5 minutes getting into position, then you get to use that position to your advantage. And as you'll see for the rest of the replay, I do, of course, do that. Now I do make a mistake here at the end, but I mean, it's like when you see the situation I was in, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter what I did. The outcome wasn't going to change. I'll leave it at that. And you can even go as far as to, of course, try CVs too. I hop into CV every now and then. This is something that people, I guess, don't believe when I tell them or whatever. I have quite a few battles in CVs too. I'm not good in them. I'll never say that until I actually am good in them. My most played CV is the Graf Zeppelin, which yeah, I put up with that agony for forever. Now the Graf Zeppelin, after the most recent changes to it, it's really more like a cruiser with 3 flavors of spotting aircraft, but that's another video for another time. But even doing that too, and just again playing the game from a different angle. First off, it'll relieve you of the stress like we talked about at the start of the video. Second off, you know how to counter those ships a lot better. Once you play a ship and you know its weaknesses, that just makes you a better player. You know how to counter them now. You know what makes that player frustrated. Frustrated in terms of, you're countering them, so you may force them to make a mistake when they're trying to counter you, countering them, and you'll know what to do. Plus, of course, half of what Warships is just knowing the statistics of the ships that you're facing and where to poke them, where not to poke them, what's their torpedo range, what's their hydroacoustic search range, what's their radar range, and all that jazz. So doing this makes you a more well-rounded player as well. And who knows, you may find something that you like. I like the Khabarovsk, even though the Kleber is, of course, the on paper and what many players would say is the better ship, because it does do everything the Khabarovsk does, but better. But I have the Kleber and I have the Khabarovsk, and me personally, I just like the Khabarovsk right now a lot. I think a bit of it too is when I first started playing World of Warships and I first got to tier 10, Khabarovsk was an absolute monster. And I mean, it has been nerfed so much since then. Even this most recent buff is still like, it's not like it's brought it back to its old position where it was just a god amongst other ships. But yeah, just back in the day, I remember just watching Khabarovsk just wreck entire flanks almost single-handedly, and I remember just being bullied by them back in the day. I mean, they could literally just sail around you in circles when you were in a battleship, and you couldn't really do anything because they were out at, like, I think you could get the range almost out to like 16 kilometers on the main battery guns back in the day. It's down to 13.5 now, but I just remember it's like some of the ridiculous things that could be done by the Khabarovsk back in the day. And it does have a heal too. That certainly does help, especially newer destroyer players. When you slip up and you lose half of your health, especially in the DD, it friggin' sucks. That has another thing that I've learned from this experience, how skilled you DD players are out there. So again, hats off to you guys as well, because good God, you really cannot afford to slip up in a destroyer, especially with all the radar too. It's another thing why I like the Khabarovsk and the Kleber and other gunboats, because it's like, open water gunboat running around at max speed. You radar me and you can spot me. Okay, I don't really care. I'll just keep running around and dodging too. And that's what I've been doing in the Khabarovsk, and it's been a ton of fun. But anyway, guys, that's just my piece of advice to you today to kind of relieve some of the stress. Try something new. Start out at low tier. I'm not saying, of course, yeah, I'm absolutely not saying, because people are going to say this, I'm not saying free XP up to a tier 10 and just go for it. No. Go start at the lower tiers, work your way through it, grind the ships out, do it properly so you know what you're doing. Even with the hyper grind session, I still have to play. I think I probably have like, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 games on Khabarovsk now maybe, and I still don't really consider myself a good Khabarovsk player. I just enjoy playing the ship, and I'm noticing I'm doing much better now than I did when I first got through the hyper grind session in it. But yeah, just go try something new, have some fun in it. Don't be afraid to try something completely new. I know that there's some players that like, and we've all ran into these guys that they'll see that you're not doing that hot, they'll go up and look up your stats and just bring, oh, you only have 10 games in a DD. You this. Oh, you scrub this. Well, I don't think anyone ever said scrub anymore. I'm not up to turn with the youthful vocabulary of what a Warship stat shamers, but you know, whatever. There's gonna be those guys. Just ignore them. Carry on about your day. Continue to learn and make yourself a better player. But anyway, guys, that's just my tip of advice for you guys today. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way now to 25,000 subscribers. We have passed the 20,000 subscriber mark. I have selected one of the winners for the 20,000 subscriber giveaway. There were 3 winners. The first one has been selected. I'm waiting to hear back from them. Once I hear back from them, they will get their selected reward ship, and then I'll select I won't. The bot will select a second winner, and so forth and so on. I'm just waiting to hear back from them. They have another, at the time of recording, another 24 hours to respond to my comments or reply to me in Discord. So if you're watching, go check out the comment section or check notifications for the giveaway video, because I've highlighted their comments, so you might have one waiting there on your comment from me. So just go ahead, check it out, make sure that you're not missing out on it, and get to DMing me. Anyway, guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.